Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Maria, and today I'm going to be trying out the newly released, it's the Chantecaille Holiday Perle collection for 2021. This recently became available on Beautylish, and because they deliver here to New Zealand, I bought all three of the products. I understand one of the products, that's the eyeshadow, was available in a quad. I think it was the Hummingbird quad about 2 or 3 years ago, and it's the same color, but I never picked up that quad, so I thought I would pick it up this time because I really love the look of it. So all three products came in the same packaging. It is made in Italy, and all of these Chantecaille products are not only cruelty free, but they're also PETA approved. And the shelf life for these products, two of them are the same, one is different. So this one is the face powder, and that has a shelf life of 18 months from a date of opening, and the eyeshadow and the blush have a shelf life of 24 months from date of opening. And all of the products came in these really lovely pouches. They are a soft pink, sort of a soft ballerina type pink, and with a drawstring, and they have the Chantecaille logo across the bottom there. And then you've probably seen other videos on this, or if not, there's been photos of this on Instagram. This is the highlighter packaging, so I will hold it up. And all three have exactly the same packaging. This is the bigger size between the blush and the eyeshadow though. And these beautiful pearls are raised, so it's not really something you could stack in your drawer, but I plan to display all these products on one of my shelves here, but they really are just beautiful. So I'm going to start off with the eyeshadow. I already have some foundation on. I've powdered down my face. I also have bronzer on and done my eyebrows as well. The bronzer that I have on is the Chantecaille one in Goa. I was going to reach for the Chantecaille cushion as my foundation, but it is really hot here today. It is getting towards the end of spring here in New Zealand, and I was looking at the thermometer that we have inside our house. It also shows the outside temperature, and just before it hit about 30 degrees, and I think that would equate to about 84, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So instead I reached for the Tom Ford, is the shade in Illuminate foundation. And before I put on this foundation, I put on my primer, and I also put on setting spray. I let that dry, and then I put on this foundation, and then I baked some Chanel translucent powder on my face. I used the by Terry under my eyes. I like that pressed powder. I've mentioned it before. It's because it doesn't dry down too much under my eyes, so I just find it really perfect for under the eye area. But I did bake on the Chanel loose powder, and I'm hoping during this video that I will stay fairly matte looking. It is really warm in this room, especially when I've got the lights in front of me as well. So the eyeshadow has exactly the same packaging as what I showed you before. This is called the Lumiere Eye Sheen, and this is in the shade Baroque, and inside is a lovely little mirror, and this is the eyeshadow itself. And this does have a shift to it, and it is really, really gorgeous. Now this eyeshadow has been released before. I understand about 2 or 3 years ago it was in a Chantecaille quad, the Hummingbird one, but I never purchased that quad, so that's why I picked up this eyeshadow. Inside this packaging is 2 grams of product, and I said it has a shift to it. It is probably more of a duochrome. I haven't swatched or tried on any of these products yet. So first of all, I'm going to try swatching the shade on the back of my hand. Because it is spring here in New Zealand, I am starting to get a bit of a tan despite wearing a ton of sunscreen, whether I'm inside or outside. I just tend to go quite brown quite easy. So I've put that on the back of my hand, so hopefully you can see it. It has type of a bronzy plum sort of duochrome, and it is just really, really beautiful. And I have got eyeshadow primer on, and I'm going to keep the look very simple today. This is the only shade that I'm going to put on my eye. So first of all, I'm going to try it with the Rapha number 15 brush. And because this is the only shade, I'm going to sweep it all over my lid, in the crease, and just slightly above.
Another minute, let me hold you. You might be late for work, that's okay. Every day I get to know you, and all your flaws are nothing.
Well, the Rapha number 15 brush put on the product really well, and it also blends really beautifully too. I am going to try it also put some more on using my finger to see if you can get any more pigment from this eyeshadow, but by itself, just like this with the brush, I think looks really, really pretty. I love that shift. It's just a really gorgeous color. So now, and I'm just going to do it on my eyelid, put some on my finger and just go over the top, and you do seem to get a little bit more payoff. And that is the eyeshadow. Just put on another layer with my finger. You definitely get a bit more payoff. Either way, I think it's really, really beautiful. The brush gives it just a bit more of a subtle look. And this is really pretty as well. So now I'm going to look for an eyeliner to put on. I don't have a Chantecaille eyeliner, so I'm just going to look in my drawer. I'm probably going to pick a brown one. So I've decided to go with the Sisley. It's the Phyto Kohl Star. It's the waterproof eyeliner, and this is in the shade Sparkling Brown.
I love it when you wake up, freckles with no makeup. I just want to take up all your time and stay put.
So I've also got mascara on now as well, and I also put in my waterline. It's the Chantecaille, it's the Brightening Eye Kajal, it's this one. And I use this every now and then. I thought it would look quite nice with this eye look, and I think the look looks really, really lovely. I was considering whether I should put the eyeshadow underneath here as well, but I really think the Sisley eyeliner is enough. But I love the look of this eyeshadow. I just think it's really, really pretty, and I love the shift that it has to it as well. So now we'll take a look at the blush. This is in exactly the same size packaging as the eyeshadow that I've just put on. This also has 2 grams of product, and this is called Rouge Pearl in the shade Ochre, and it is the same type of formula that came out in the Flower Power blush earlier this year, and I have that shade. This is the Flower Power one here. I'll swatch that on my hand in a minute and do it side by side with this new one. So here is the blush. It is a really beautiful pink, and I really love pink colored blushes. I think they are really, really beautiful. So I will swatch this one on my hand as well. So here are the 2 blushes. This one is the new one in Ochre, and this is the other one that was in the Flower Power range. So this one is definitely pink, and this one is more of a corally type of color. And they both have that gel to powder hybrid type of formula. It just feels really, really beautiful on the skin. So I'm going to put this blush on first with a very soft brush, and then I'll use another brush over the top, because if it's like the other blush, then it is quite subtle, but it does build up really, really beautifully. So first of all, I'm going to use the Chukuhodo. It's the KZ02. It's the cheek brush, and I will swipe some in. There is quite a bit of pickup on the brush, but if it's like the other one, when you first start to lay it down, it doesn't show a lot.
I was built to love you, you know. Is there anybody else?
So you can see with a really soft brush like this Chukuhodo one that it does lay down the pigment, but it is very, very subtle. I think that this looks really, really beautiful just like this. You don't have to be really bold, but I am going to go over it now, and I'm going to try it with, it's the Sonia G, it's the classic cheek brush. This is a more dense type of brush, and we'll just see how much more colour we can get. So you can see with this brush that you definitely get more payoff. But I really liked it just with the Chantecaille Holiday brush as well. I thought that really, really just subtle type of coverage looks really, really pretty. Well, I think that colour is absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, whether it's laid down just very, very lightly so you get a really subtle look, or layering it up with a more dense brush like this one, this is really beautiful too. So either way, it depends what type of look you want, but either looks really, really beautiful, and I love the formula. I just think it is really, really pretty and just goes with this eyeshadow really beautifully too. So now let's take a look at the highlighter. This one is bigger than the eyeshadow and the blush. This one is called the Pearl Lumiere, and it has 4.5 grams of product and has that really beautiful embossing inside. It is really, really gorgeous. Now, I understand that there was a highlighter put out a little while ago and it had exactly the same type of embossing on it. So people thought it was the same colour highlighter, but apparently this one is completely different. This one more is of a soft pink colour. So I'm going to swatch this on the back of my hand so you can take a look. And here is the highlighter. It is just a really beautiful soft pink. So as I did with the blush, I'm going to use two different types of putting this highlighter on. First, I'm going to use a softer brush. This is the Chantecaille Holiday. This is the KZ. This is the 03 brush. And this is just really beautiful and soft. So I'm going to try that first and see what sort of payoff you get.
Anybody else like you? I think I found an angel. Is there anybody else like you? Anybody else like you? I don't think
so. With that really soft brush, for me, that really gives enough highlight. I think it is subtle. It doesn't emphasize any texture that I have on my cheekbones here. I think it's a really soft, beautiful shade, just like it is. But I am going to try it with a more denser brush as well and see if we can get a bit more payoff. And I'm going to use the BK Beauty, it's the 108 brush. And just put a little bit on this brush and just go over. And that does lay down more product. But for me, really, just with the Chantecaille Holiday brush, that KZ one that I used, that would be enough for me. It's just a really, when I use that brush, just a really beautiful, soft, subtle highlight. Then I'm going to take the Sonia G, it's a smooth buffer, and I'm just going to buff that highlighter in a little bit. And for the lipstick, I chose a Chantecaille, it's the Lip Chic one, and this is in the shade Honeysuckle. And to finish this all off, I'm now going to buff in some Chantecaille powder. It is starting to get really warm in the room here. I'm going to take the Sonia G Face 1 brush and buff this powder in. And then I'm going to finish it off. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. As I said, I put this on after my primer and before my foundation. And now I'm going to put it on my final look as well, just to set everything in. And here is the final look. And overall, I think it looks really, really beautiful. I really love the eyeshadow. You can have it as subtle as you want, or as I did, then build it up using your finger as well. And since it's the only eyeshadow I used, and then just with the eyeliner and mascara, I think it looks really, really pretty. It's just really soft with a little bit of shimmer too, and that shift is really, really gorgeous. I love the formula of the blush, and I love the colour of it too. And I really like it how you can build it up, because again, you can go for a very, very subtle look or build it up so you have more colour if you want. And the highlighter is really gorgeous too. It's subtle, it doesn't emphasize my texture. You can build it up if you want. Depending on what type of brush you use, you can have it so that it shows a bit more, or just keep it really, really subtle. So all of the products in this collection are just really pretty. And also with this honeysuckle, the lip cheek is really gorgeous too. I think altogether it gives just a really soft, really pretty look. I'm thrilled with all the products. I think the packaging is outstanding, and I won't be storing them in my drawer. These will go on my shelf or one of the tables that I have to the left of me or to the right. I've also got a couple of shelves in front of me as well. They're far too beautiful to stack into a drawer. They will be displayed somewhere in my room here. It's now starting to get really hot in the room here. It won't be long, in another week or two, and I'm going to have to put the air conditioning on that we have in the other room here and leaving the store open, because I think it's just going to get too hot to do any filming. But considering how warm it is in here, I think that my makeup and with my oily skin, everything is holding up really well. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.